This is the Alaris PC system. The center console is the computer system. It runs attachments or modules. The one we're going to be talking about today is this PCA module attachment. Now what you'll need to set the PCA up is you need your order set, you need a PCA narcotic record sheet to document your narcotic infusions. You'll need your PCA key out of the Omni cell. You'll need your narcotic and a 60 or 20 ml luer lock syringe, Y-type PCA tubing. You'll need a driver fluid, normal saline unless otherwise indicated, and then primary tubing. You'll need a secondary pump, you can't see it in the videos down below, to run the driver, and at some point at the end you'll need another nurse, another RN to verify the programming. Okay, so before we actually touch the pump itself, we're going to go ahead and prime our tubing. Now, this is pre-primed, but we connect our syringe to our proximal end of our tubing, and we prime it all the way to the Y. Now, this is important. Priming up to the Y and stopping, and from there, we take our normal saline, or our carrier fluid, and we finish priming the rest of the distal portion of this tubing. Now that's important because on startup, the pump recognizes this as being a carrier fluid, a normal saline or some type, and so it may inadvertently infuse a small bit of fluid into the patient. So we don't want that to be narcotic and then get an unintended bolus. So once those are primed, we're going to make sure that our clamp is clamped on our narcotic tubing. When that's done, we'll come to our PCA pump with our key, unlock it right here. Opens the door, and we'll turn it on. The on button. Now it does a system self-test. It takes a few minutes. So while it's doing that, we'll look at some buttons. We have a silence button, options, numeric keypad, selector buttons along the side, channel select on the PCA itself, a channel off on the PCA itself. All right, so the first thing it asks you, is this a new patient? So let's say yes, so we can go through our programming. Yes. It asks you the area of the hospital you're working in. There can be several listed on this computer, on this Alaris PC, but for our purposes, we only needed one just to load the library, the drug library into. So it says med surge, yes or no. We'll say yes, because that's where our library is at. Now at this point, we'll hit channel select. It asks us, is the time current? 1748 on here right now, so yeah, we verify the time is accurate. If it wasn't, you can come here and change the time, but it is, so we'll hit confirm. It asks us to install the syringe. So that's what we'll do. This clamp here turns to the left and moves up and down. We'll raise it all the way to the top. This clip holds these wings in place. You slide these wings underneath the clip. There's a sensor right there that measures the inside diameter of the barrel of the syringe, which we'll need that to match up with the size in a second. But the clear clamp here holds it in place. So we'll go ahead and install this. The wings go underneath this gray clip and keep it secure up and down. We'll put our clear clamp back in place. It releases and pulls. Now we're going to take our clamp up top, open it up, drop it down to the top of the plunger, and it grabs a hold to the plunger. So we're set there. It asks us to confirm that we've done that. Yes. Now syringe selection to match up to make sure the sizes are correct, and it understands that. There's a button, all syringes. So it has determined that it's either a BD Plastipack 50, 60 ml or a Monoject 60 ml. So this is in fact a BD. We'll select that and confirm. All right, so now our medications are listed there. We have a whole library, A through Z. These are on the front for ease of use. We'll say morphine. Press that. It asks morphine PCA 1 milligram and 1 milliliter was selected. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Green screen comes up, clinical advisories, just telling us that 2 RNs are going to be required to verify the programming. We understand that, so we hit confirm. Second green screen, it says to attach your SpO2 and end-tidal CO2 monitors. We're not using those, so to bypass that, we're going to hit confirm. Now, the drug amount, 1 milligram, volume, 1 milliliter, units of time is an hour, units of dosing is milligrams, concentration is 1 milligram per milliliter. Now we go to next. Hit silence here. Another green screen comes up. It says PCA pause limits. It wants us to check those. Those have to do with the entitled CO2 and SpO2, which we're not using, so they don't affect us. We're going to bypass that. Hit confirm. Infusion modes. For the most of the time, we're going to be using PCA dose only, so we'll go ahead there and select that, PCA dose only. Looking at our orders with another nurse that we have now, we're going to say PCA dose 1 milligram, blackout interval 10 minutes. Our orders say, is there a max limit? Yes or no? Our orders say yes, so we're going to hit that. It asks in milligrams per hour what the max limit is. So let's say 10 milligrams per hour. And then it also asks for a loading dose. And so you'd go through the same process with a loading dose to include that. So then we hit the confirm button. So we two RNs agree on that. Confirm. And that's just to close and lock the door. So we make sure this tubing is in the channel so it doesn't get pinched. We close it, but it doesn't lock. So we have to make sure that we turn the key back to lock, and then you'll hear a click and it's secure. So now we can look at our settings again, and at this point we'll connect to the patient. And this is a good time if you wanted to hook your primary tubing up, your driver fluid, to have that going as well. Connect to your patient, make sure we're unclamped, and we can hit start down here at that time. All right, so that's connected. Now we need to teach the patient how to use this thing. So our controller, where we go, is right here. Dose request button. It's lit up. We'll go ahead and hit it. Once you hit it, once you press that, the infusion begins. It flashes to indicate that it is infusing. There's a light up here, also indicates infusing. And down here you'll see delivering PCA. Once that dose is delivered, this light goes out. And it will stay out for the lockout interval. We set 10 minutes, so this light will stay out for 10 minutes once the dose is done. Now at the end of the 10 minutes, the light will come back on. That indicates to the patient that there is another dose available if they would like it. All right, so we do that, we hand that to the patient. We turn this around, we can see a button, a black button on the back here. Now that's a keypad lockout for locking out the keypad in case anybody wants to tamper with it or attempt to. Now something important to remember is that before you turn off the system or at the end of your shift, you want shift totals, especially when you're discontinuing, make sure you get your patient history data recorded. So to do that, we go to channel select. Now this advisory comes up asking us about this entitled CO2 module again, but we're not using that again, so we're going to confirm to bypass. And this screen comes up, the main screen, and so we have options down here. We'll press options. Patient history is one of our options, so we'll select that. And there we see a history. This zoom button will take us through the time periods from 1 hour to 24 hours. And then this detail button over here gives us our totals. Total drug, PCA dose, continuous infusion if we were to use that. So all the information here that we would need is there. So we document that, and then we can hit exit. Now if we were discontinuing it, we would go ahead and at this time you can hit channel off, hold it for 3 seconds, and it'll begin to shut down. That's how we set up the PCA.